Welcome to May 1st. It's May Day. So the origins of May Day are not exactly known. I spent a lot of time trying to figure that out, and everyone seems to have different ideas. But its history in pagan Europe is one of celebration of the upcoming season of growth for crops and animals, and celebration of life-affirming relationships between people. Raised on a farm in the 1800s, white Unitarian minister Jenkins Lloyd Jones wrote, "A mystic transformation does take place when dirt, water, and air are converted into turnips, clover, wheat, corn, and apples." May Day asks us to attend to the growing season. For many children, maybe most children, maybe even you, playing with dirt is part of childhood. It can be an able building material. Sometimes there are living things in it, like anthills and worms and beetles. It can take on many shapes, fueling make-believe adventures. My childhood adventures were to lands far away, tramping through dangerous woods, the backyard garden, sailing away in a ship, the backyard treehouse, landing on an island where foraged food was the nectar of sweet honeysuckle flowers, kumquats, and fat blackberries hot in the summer sun. Sometimes if I was going to be in a strange land for a while, I needed to make a cup or a bowl to pretend to get water from local stream, the backyard spigot. So I'd like to invite you on this day when our little kiddos are here to play with me for a bit. So Albert Einstein used to do something called thought experiments, where he did visualizations of things that he wanted to think deeply about or feel deeply about, and he wanted to unmoor himself from life, from where he was presently. So I'm going to ask you to play along a little bit with this. So you might want to soften your gaze. Feel free to close your eyes, to lean back in your chair, to just relax. Now I want you to picture a glass of water in front of you. You got that? Now picture a mound of dirt about the size of a baseball next to that glass of water. Nothing fancy, just some beautifully common dirt, the stuff from a backyard or a garden outside the sanctuary. Now make a shallow hole with your fist or your heel or your elbow in the middle of it. And imagine picking up that glass and slowly pouring the water into the hole. Notice what happens. You might see the dirt change color. You might notice the water sits on the surface, or you might notice that it immediately gets soaked up by the dirt. Now here's the fun part. Mix that dirt and water together, letting it squish between your fingers or your toes. Keep squishing the water and dirt together until the end you have a nice pile of mud. Should be sort of sticky. You want the kind of mud that can hold the shape. So you might need to add a little more water or a little more dirt until you get that consistency. Now take this lump and form it into a ball, and then put a shallow indentation in it. Use your thumbs to push that indentation up, or use your fist to get the walls to come up around your fingers or your elbow. You want it to be in the shape of a bowl. Keep working it until you've got it in that shape. If you want to, you can take a stick and carve a design into the side of it. Now leave that bowl outside in the sun. Thank you. Come back into the space here. I hope you noticed the power of that experience. Maybe you felt your muscles tighten as you worked the bowl. Maybe you could feel the water on your skin. Maybe you could feel the way the mud probably stuck to your fingers or to your elbow or to your heel. Maybe you feel more relaxed now, just in letting go. So now, a few days later, we come back and we find that the bowl is dry. It probably has some hairline cracks in it, right? It probably has a few or a lot of lumpy places. I mean, you just use your body to form it, no technology to help like a potter's wheel. And you didn't spend much time making it perfect. What would that be anyway? So the bottom is probably not level. And the walls are probably unevenly up, and it's not perfectly round. The bowl was formed through the bonding relationship of water and dirt, the heat of the sun, and your energy. Hydrogen and oxygen, ancient beyond our ability to comprehend such a timeline. And the dirt is minerals and rocks and the bodies of things once living. The heat of the sun dries our bowl because of the relationship between atoms in the bowl and the atoms from sunlight transformed into heat. The sun puts forth light because of the relationship between atoms that make up its gaseous body, quantum explosions added all together. Your bowl may seem complete. It had a beginning, it started in water, and it ended with being dry. But really, your bowl is still in motion. And now, without pause, is sliding from its creation to its degradation. It is already breaking down, and one day will be beautifully common dirt again, the water evaporating into the atmosphere to fall again someday as rain. Like your bowl, nothing is permanent. Though these last months of the last 2 years of this pandemic may feel otherwise. But really, there is only the beginning of the bowl, the becoming of the bowl, its peak creation, and then falling into dissolution, and then joyously beginning the process all over again. We forget impermanence is real because often the speed of change is so slow, it evades our notice, because that is what our brain would prefer. The protective brain wants everything to stay safe, and once safe, wants it to stay the same. So it seems that a beloved shirt worn for 12 years suddenly comes out of the dryer with a hole big enough to relegate it to only home wear. And then one day, suddenly, our spouse snickers and questions our beloved shirt's very existence. I have been describing what can loosely be called a process philosophy worldview. Process philosophy was famously articulated in the West by Alfred North Whitehead last century, yet perhaps with a clear lineage drawn from Eastern philosophies, including Buddhism. In a process worldview, ultimate reality is impermanent, becoming and dissolving, quantum particles attracted and bonding together, then peeling apart to join with other particles, atoms attracted and bonding together and peeling apart, and so on. Process theology takes this worldview and emphasizes the desire and call toward life-affirming relationships, supporting the worthiness of all people. It is deeply Unitarian Universalist theology. A process worldview is making its way into many academic branches. Theologians, quantum scientists, philosophers, astrobiologists, ethicists, computer scientists, and more are drawing upon a process worldview. Ontology, for example, is a branch of philosophy that studies the existence, the nature of reality, the nature of being and relationships, exploring whether consciousness is the foundation of existence. Would that mean that our thought experiment in imagining making a small bowl means the bowl exists on another plane, another level of consciousness of which we are unaware? Might all bowls only exist because some sentient being willed it? When I consider what it means to be awake in the world, it includes the concept that humankind has yet to know. It assumes that we do not know everything. I wonder whether objects like our imagined bowl might exist on another plane, perhaps right before us where we imagined it. Human bodies radiate an electromagnetic field that has been measured at least 8 feet wide. And the researchers who measure this say it's 8 feet because that is only as far as they can measure. I wonder if human emotions like joy and sadness, trust and fear, disgust, anger, surprise, anticipation, and all the nuanced emotions between are experienced on another plane of existence, of which we do not yet have scientific understanding, but is real and affects us nonetheless. Being awake calls us into fully embracing our connection to one another and to the cosmos. We often remind our children and ourselves that we are made of star stuff, that the Big Bang is written within the quantum particles that make up our atoms, that make up our molecules, that are the building blocks of our bodies. Dr. Steve J. Dick, an astronomer and historian, retired from NASA. Next week, he will give a paper at a conference called Astrobiology, Exophilosophy, and Cosmic Religion Toward a Constructive Process, Cosmotheology. It's a lot of big words. The paper he will present is entitled Astrobiology, Cosmotheology, and the Biological Universe, Implications for Religion and Theology. The abstract for his paper is fascinating. He states the biological universe, the idea that intelligent life in the universe is common, necessitates a reconciliation of this new universe with dogmas of the Abrahamic religions. Other religions and their associated theologies will be less affected, but still need to incorporate this cosmic perspective. Discoveries in astronomy and astrobiology resonate with process theology in the sense that all theologies must account for cosmic evolution and the possibilities of a biological universe in which life may be part of the very fabric of the universe. He concludes the endeavor of transforming current theologies and creating new cosmic theologies is broadly characterized as astrotheology, a new and increasingly robust discipline that embraces the possibility of a more universal theology common to all intelligences in the cosmos. Did your mind just go? According to Professor Ted Peters, astrotheology attempts to construct a meaningful understanding of our human situation within an astonishingly immense cosmos. In 2020, the SETI Institute reported there could be as many as 300 million potentially habitable planets in our galaxy. Scientists estimate that, Ted Peters says that the discovery of exoplanets elsewhere in the Milky Way, some of which may be homes for extraterrestrial intelligent civilizations, must change the way we think of ourselves. Professor Peters taught at UC Berkeley's Graduate Theological Union, a seminary there. And Starr King used to be a part of that, of GTU. So an ever-evolving understanding of Earth, our universe, and cosmos demands that we as individuals think about how we are going to evolve our own spirituality, our own personal beliefs, about how we are connected to this place and each other. At first, I thought I could tie our imaginary mud bowls into the great cosmos by quoting Carl Sagan, who wrote in Cosmos, his 1980 book, that there are more stars in the universe than all the grains of sand on Earth. Unfortunately, it's not true. There are roughly some 7 quintillion grains of sand, or 7.5 times 10 to the 18th power, for those of you who know what that means. Not me, but it sounds really great. 7 quintillion, quintillion. And according to science writer David Blattner, there are the same number of stars above us, thousands, as there are molecules in 10 drops of water. I heard this from our sacred Unitarian Universalist source, NPR. I will be shocked if future generations discover that humans are the only ones. I will be shocked if that happens. From deep speculation, we may not be alone right here on our own planet. As a non-theist then, I admit to questioning the way humanism centers the wisdom and capacity of humankind to put the affirmation of life first. When I consider all that is happening in the world and all the peoples who are suffering at the hands of other people. I once heard someone say on a social media platform that humans claim to be intelligent, but there is so much evidence to the contrary. From my mid-20s until my mother died, I came to Chandler and the North Scottsdale to visit her. I have seen this place change. I have seen this place grow and expand. Yet now living here, I go out into the desert. I find fire agates and red jasper, chrysocolla and geodes. I marvel at saguaro, teddy bear cholla, and hedgehog cacti. When I came here this morning, I noticed that there was a rock up here. And I asked Amy, do you guys use this rock for something? And she said, no, I don't think I've ever seen it. But it's shiny. To me, I'm in Arizona when I see random rocks around. Despite my having lived in a city in the Sahara Desert, living here is gently offering me an ever-growing appreciation of the Sonora Desert. We are star stuff, yes. But we should just as easily say that we are made of earth stuff. The ingestion of needed nutrients grown in the thin layer of soil that covers our planet, the recycling of water, and the recycling of all the air that we breathe. We are offered the yellow snow from Palo Verde flowers, the prickly pain caused by a cactus spine, the love and support of communities that hold us, the possibility of meeting sentient beings from elsewhere, and so much more. I think the Mayday wisdom from our ancient pagan families saying, hey, you there, wake up. Awaken from your winter and spring slumber. Wake up. Celebrate life. Are you awake? Doesn't sound like it. Take this May Day pagan gift and go out today and look around. As Amy was talking about, take today and be mindful. Touch flowers, play in the dirt. Say hello to a neighbor that you haven't spoken to recently. Happy May Day. Amen, Ashe, Namaste.